Somali piracy was a major global security concern in the late 2000s and early 2010s, as pirate attacks off the Horn of Africa threatened international shipping, leading to ransom payments totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. However, over the past decade, the presence of Somali pirates has significantly diminished. Somali piracy emerged as a response to economic and political instability in Somalia following the collapse of its government in 1991. Without a central authority to enforce laws, criminal networks took advantage of lawlessness to hijack commercial vessels and fishing boats. Initially, local fishermen began attacking foreign ships they accused of illegal fishing and toxic waste dumping in Somali waters. However, these acts evolved into large-scale piracy operations, where groups of armed men targeted cargo ships, oil tankers, and even luxury yachts. At its peak between 2008 and 2012, Somali pirates were responsible for hundreds of hijackings, demanding multi-million-dollar ransoms from shipping companies. The infamous hijacking of the MV Maersk Alabama in 2009, which was later dramatized in the Hollywood film Captain Phillips, brought international attention to the severity of the problem. The decline of Somali piracy. Several factors contributed to the decline of Somali piracy. Increased naval patrols. In response to the growing threat, international coalitions, including NATO, the European Union, and independent naval forces, launched coordinated anti-piracy missions. The presence of warships, armed security teams on commercial vessels, and the use of convoy systems made piracy much riskier and less profitable. Stronger local governance. Regional governments, particularly in Puntland and Somaliland, began cracking down on piracy. Many pirates were arrested, and security forces worked to dismantle pirate networks. Legal consequences. Several pirates captured during hijackings were prosecuted in countries such as Kenya, Seychelles, and the United States. These trials and imprisonments discouraged others from engaging in piracy. Decline in ransom payments. As companies and governments refused to pay ransoms or used private security to prevent hijackings, piracy became a less lucrative business. This forced many pirates to seek alternative ways to make a living. Economic and social programs. Some international organizations and Somali authorities implemented economic initiatives to provide former pirates with alternative livelihoods, such as fishing and trade. Where are Somali pirates now? Although Somali piracy has largely been suppressed, some former pirates have reintegrated into society, while others have turned to different forms of criminal activity. Some returned to fishing or legitimate business. With increased security and international support, some former pirates have gone back to traditional fishing or started small businesses. Others joined criminal networks. Some pirates transitioned to smuggling, human trafficking, or other illegal activities along Somalia's coastline and in neighboring regions. A few remain active. While large-scale piracy has declined, occasional pirate attacks still occur. There have been isolated hijacking attempts in recent years, but they are far less frequent than during the peak years. While large-scale piracy like that seen off the coast of Somalia has significantly declined, piracy itself is not entirely eradicated. Whether we will see a resurgence of Somali-style piracy depends on several factors, including economic instability, weak governance, and the effectiveness of international security efforts. Here are a few key points to consider. 1. Potential for resurgence. Economic hardship and political instability. Piracy often thrives in regions with extreme poverty and lawlessness. If Somalia or other unstable coastal nations experience further economic decline or political collapse, piracy could return. Weakened international response. If global naval patrols decrease due to shifting geopolitical priorities, pirate networks might see an opportunity to revive operations. Rising maritime trade. As global shipping routes expand and more valuable goods are transported by sea, the incentives for piracy could increase, especially in areas lacking strong maritime security. 2. New hotspots for piracy. While Somalia's piracy crisis has diminished, piracy remains a serious issue in other parts of the world. Gulf of Guinea, West Africa piracy has surged off the coasts of Nigeria and Ghana, often involving hostage-taking for ransom. Strait of Malacca, Southeast Asia, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, this region has seen pirate activity, though it is mostly limited to small-scale theft rather than large hijackings. South America and the Caribbean. Recently, there has been an increase in piracy incidents off the coast of Venezuela and near the Caribbean islands, often targeting yachts and fishing vessels. 3. Evolving forms of maritime crime. Even if large-scale hijackings do not return, modern piracy is evolving. Criminals are increasingly engaging in cyber piracy, hacking into shipping systems to manipulate cargo movements or demand ransom. Illegal fishing and smuggling. Some former pirates now engage in illegal fishing, arms smuggling, or human trafficking instead of hijacking ships. While it is unlikely we will see Somali-style piracy return in its previous form, piracy as a broader issue remains a persistent threat. As long as economic hardship, weak governance, and maritime trade vulnerabilities exist, piracy will find ways to adapt. The key to preventing a resurgence is continued global security cooperation and economic development in piracy-prone regions.